Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Destiny video and another episode of A View from the Tower, the series that I'm producing in partnership with Game and Activision to talk about some of the awesome stuff in Rise of Iron, but also to help you out if you're jumping into Destiny for the first time. Last week we recapped the entire story up until this point, but this week, now that Rise of Iron is actually out, I think it's time we dive in and take a look at some of the stuff that's available, and more importantly, what you should be doing in order to get your light up if you want to brave the Wrath of the Machine raid. But, just before we dive into all the activities available, first up, if you're new to Destiny and perhaps Rise of Iron is the first time you're setting foot in this universe, then you have a couple of options. You can either start from scratch, right back at level 1, and take your time working through all the expansions to date, earning loot and progressing gradually as you go. It'll take some time, but you can progress through the story, taking it at your own pace. Alternatively, if you picked up Destiny the Collection, then it comes with an item known as a Spark of Light, and this allows you to very quickly jump to level 40, and it will also provide you with some basic gear to get you started. With this, you can then dive straight into the action, join your friends, and begin your journey to becoming an Iron Lord. Whatever you decide, once you hit Rise of Iron, the campaign is going to be your first port of call. Completing the core campaign missions will see you ascend Felwinter Peak, push back some of the Fallen and Seaver threats, and become an Iron Lord in the process. But once that's done, that's where the real journey begins. Now it's time to work on getting your light up. In basic terms, light in Destiny is a stat that represents your overall power. The higher your light, the stronger you are. And if you want to take part in the Wrath of the Machine raid, then the recommended light is 360. But how do you get there? Well, post-campaign, there are a number of activities available to you. Strike playlists that come in varying difficulties, and of course the Nightfall Strike at the top of the pile. Archon's Forge, which is the new public event space out in the Plaguelands. The Crucible, if you want to go toe-to-toe with other Guardians, and from the April update, there's Challenge of the Elders 2. That still provides you with light relevant gear. But what should you do first? Well, first things first, you want to get your light as high as possible with what you have available. If you visit the vendors in the tower, then the Vanguard and Faction vendors sell gear at 350 light. Equipping a few of these pieces will boost you before you dive into the activities. The loot system in Destiny is designed to, for the most part, give you incrementally better gear each time, i.e. it looks at what you have and gives you something better. Even if it's only by one light, it's still an overall improvement, so naturally, the higher you can be to begin with, the better this will be. Archon's Forge is a good activity to dive into. It'll require Splicer Offerings, a consumable item found by killing enemies in the Plaguelands, and offering these up at the Forge will begin short 5-minute public events that award loot as engrams dropped from enemies and bosses. This is a good activity to dive into because if there are people in the vicinity, they can jump in and help out, plus if you're running short on Seaver Offerings, you can also join in on other people's activities and still get loot in the process. However, if you're looking for a slightly more concentrated source of loot, then diving into Strike playlists is going to be one of your best options. The Seaver Crisis Heroic Strike playlist drops blue items up to 365, which is a considerable jump. Obviously, until you're around 360 Light Plus, you won't be seeing those numbers, but regardless, jumping into the strikes and playing through will, for the most part, see you get incrementally better gear at the end of each run. Be sure to equip your better gear every time as you go, so that you can gradually increase your light, in turn resulting in better drops each time. Plus, the longer you stay in the strike playlist, the better your Vanguard strike bonus, which is a modifier that helps improve loot drops the longer you play. And while you can quite easily sit in the strike playlist until you hit 365, if you feel like a change of scene, then of course you can always hop over into the Crucible. Not only do you get loot at the end of your matches, but you're also able to tick off some of those nodes in your Rise of Iron record book. Completing milestones in the book will earn you rewards, and depending on your level at the time, these rewards can sometimes be an increase. And of course on top of all of that, don't forget to infuse. While it's advantageous to throw on whatever gear you get as you go to keep leveling up, once you're done, you're going to want to use some of your favourite weapons. So infusing better gear into your favourite items will bring them up to the respective light level, so that you can use them instead. And that's really all there is to it. I've personally spent most of my time this week in the Seaver Crisis Heroic Strike playlist, and now that most of my gear is 365, I'm diving back into activities like Archon's Forge to try and pick up some of those pieces that I'm missing in preparation for the raid. And honestly, this, for me, is what I love the most about Destiny. The very first day a raid goes live, nobody knows what to expect besides a few gameplay snippets in teaser trailers. We have no idea what bosses or puzzles await us, or how many bosses there will be for that matter, so that day one race to try and be the first to complete it is, for me, one of the best experiences. I'm going to be streaming my world first attempt as well, so if you guys do want to tune in, then you can of course find a link to my Twitch channel in the description box down below. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys have been getting on this week. What is your current light level? Are you ready for the raid? And what have you enjoyed most in Rise of Iron so far? But for the time being, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching. If you've missed any of my Rise of Iron videos this week, then I've got plenty for you guys to watch. Guides on how to get the Kvozdov, the Yalahorn, where to find those hidden dormant Siva clusters, and much more. Of course, if you guys want to know about Destiny, then you can also check out Games Hub in the description box down below. But for the time being, thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.